If you don't have a culture that supports dynamic working, you do not have a culture that supports diversity. Full stop. Full stop. I chair the Diversity Council for Barclays in the UK. It is incredible. No matter what is on the agenda, every time that agenda moves to dynamic working. If you want to focus on mental health in the workplace, you end up talking about dynamic working. You want to start talking about more senior female leaders. That's obviously, that everyone realizes that is dynamic working. We get that. But if you want to talk about racial and religious diversity, if you don't create the culture that allows somebody to turn around to their boss and say, because of my community norms, I won't be in the office tomorrow afternoon, you're not going to create religious and cultural diversity either. It is genuinely the absolute underpinning. A couple of very practical things. We've made it clear this is not an HR function. It's very interesting. We tried a couple of runs at this. Sometimes we talked about the policy and we set up this big framework for you to apply and do all this. Absolute rubbish. Stop that. Right? It has to be something that managers talk about, because the vast, vast majority of flexible working arrangements actually mean me saying, Nikunj, do you mind if I work from home on Friday? Right? So the moment you create this atmosphere that I've actually got to fill out a form before I can even ask that question, both Nikunj as my leader says, no, this is a formality thing, and I think it's a formality thing. You've got to make the culture that says, I can just go and say I need to work from home on a Friday. And I think in dynamic working, micro behaviors is critical. And let me give you an example of where, bluntly, I still get it wrong. I've got a guy in my team who comes in at 10 o'clock 2 days a week because he does the school run. I've known that for years. It's absolutely well established, no problem at all. We were talking about something blew up, and we needed to have a meeting the following day. So a group of us were together. He wasn't there. And we were talking about the fact we needed to get together. We said, right, let's get together, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We've got to really work this out. And I said, oh, we can't do that because John comes in late on Thursdays. Wrong word. Doesn't come in late. Comes in at 10 o'clock. That's not late. That's the time that John comes in on Thursdays. Now, my heart's in the right place. I still use those words. But everyone's heard late. So getting those micro behaviors right for all of us, and then acknowledging it and saying, I didn't mean late. He comes in at 10, and that's fine. Acknowledging that. So that's my big lessons. Acknowledge it's hard. Give people a license to ask for help. Talk to the leaders. Talk to the leaders, because they're the people who make it work on the ground. Don't make it formal, because that's not culture then, that's process. And make it work for everybody. Talking to the middle-aged blokes about what dynamic working could mean to them is as important about talking to the millennials, to the women coming back from maternity.